Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today, we bring you some news. King Charles and Camilla's shocked security alert to Secret Son revealed the darkest scandal. An insider source indicates significant security worries for the royal tour in Australia stemming from Secret Son's claims. Reports indicate that King Charles and Queen Camilla are issuing a stern warning to this Australian individual. As King Charles and Queen Camilla start their anticipated royal tour to Australia and Samoa, an unforeseen occurrence has overshadowed the itinerary. Simon Charles Durante Day, an Australian, asserts that he is the illegitimate son of the monarch and queen consort, inciting controversy and raising security concerns. The security alert level is significantly elevated, which is unusual for Australian men. Simon Charles Durante Day, born in Britain and residing in Australia, asserts that he is the illegitimate son of King Charles and Queen Camilla. Durante Day claims that Queen Elizabeth clandestinely adopted him shortly after his birth to protect the royal couple's reputation. Durante Day's persistent demands for DNA testing have raised apprehensions over the royal security apparatus before the royal couple's trip to Australia. Durante Day articulated his desire to confer with King Charles and Queen Camilla during their visit by asking, "What am I planning to do this time around?" The police included him on an emergency watch list among 20 other possible threats to the royal couple. A confidential security specialist told Daily Mail Australia, individuals who create public disturbances will attract significant attention. Background checks and psychological evaluations are customary. Possible royal controversy? British royal scandals include extramarital affairs, prominent divorces, and enigmatic vanishings. The allegations against Durante Day may be the most startling. Could this perhaps be the most significant royal scandal in history? We must analyze Durante Day's claims and the timeline of King Charles and Queen Camilla's relationship to comprehend the seriousness of the matter. Simon Charles Durante Day, born in Britain and residing in Australia, asserts that he is the clandestine offspring of King Charles and Queen Camilla. His persistent requests for a DNA test to validate his royal lineage have incited suspicion. Durante Day claims that his adopted grandmother informed him he was the offspring of Charles and Camilla soon after his birth. The allegation might potentially evolve into one of the most significant royal scandals in history. Durante Day's assertions have endured for years, largely unquestioned. The forthcoming royal journey rejuvenated his narrative. Security put Durante Day on a watch list owing to his potential to approach the royal couple during their visit. His recent social media remarks suggest he will respond to Charles and Camilla's visit in Sydney by enhancing security measures. Is the royal timeline authentic? We must analyze Durante Day's assertions within the framework of Charles and Camilla's intricate relationship. Their relationship was tumultuous, characterized by public scrutiny and controversy. Charles was born in 1948 and ascended to the title of Prince of Wales in 1958. He studied at prestigious universities before enlisting in the Royal Air Force and Navy. His association with Lady Diana Spencer has garnered public scrutiny. Beginning with their opulent 1,981 weddings, Charles and Diana encountered several challenges. The media referred to them as the Glums, emphasizing their discord and Camilla's role in Charles's life. In a 1995 interview, Diana stated, "There were 3 of us involved in this marriage. Thus, the atmosphere was somewhat excessive, alluding to Camilla's involvement." Camilla, born in 1947, was a British aristocrat. In 1973, she married Andrew Parker Bowles. However, her affection for Charles persisted. The 1993 Camillagate controversy, which exposed a private telephone conversation between Charles and Camilla, confirmed their affection. The assertions made by Durante Day are credible in this context. He claims that Camilla conceived his child at the age of 17 in 1965, and that the royal family adopted the child to preserve their reputation. If accurate, this period occurred prior to Charles and Camilla's official association in the early 1970s. The evidence may astonish everybody. Durante Day has presented several compelling assertions and provided circumstantial proof to gain recognition. He claims that his adopted grandmother, a member of the royal family, has provided evidence of his royal ancestry. He further observes that his birth certificate identifies a hospital where no births took place during the relevant period and has erroneous parental names. Simon Durante Day, a British Australian, resides in Queensland. He claims royal lineage and is pursuing corroborative proof. He claims that he is the illegitimate son of King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla. He asserts that the couple's youth concealed his existence, leading to his adoption at 8 months old by a couple whose parents worked for Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. According to verified sources, Karen and David Day adopted Simon after he was born in Gosport, Portsmouth, UK in 1966. He claims his royal lineage is based on a 1965 visit to Australia, during which his father, King Charles, fathered a child with a 17-year-old named Camilla. His calculations indicate that Camilla and Charles encountered each other before 1970, contradicting prevalent assumptions. He earned prominence due to the irregularities in their meeting timeline. Prior to his assertions, the public was under the impression that Charles and Camilla met one another during a polo tournament in 1972. Simon and historian Robert Jobson acknowledged their meeting at Lucia's residence and conceded that the previous account was inaccurate. Simon inquired about the repeated alterations in dates and the absence of a timeline regarding Charles and Camilla's first meeting. He suspected they were deliberately concealing the facts in order to maintain his enigmatic status. He said that his adoptive grandmother informed him he was the illegitimate offspring of King Charles and Queen Camilla, and he was convinced of her veracity due to her prominence. Historians examined his assertions and uncovered other inconsistencies in his narrative of birth. The names of the parents on Simon's birth certificate were fraudulent, and no child was born at the hospital during the decades surrounding his birth. This has sparked questions about his birth, specifically why his biological parents fabricated a hospital birth certificate and used false identities. An interview with a former Archbishop of Canterbury, who served during the marriage of King Charles and Queen Camilla, revealed the confusing chronology of their connection. During the interview, the Archbishop said that in his private conversation with Camilla, who emphasized her enduring relationship with King Charles from their adolescence, he saw her profound affection for him and bestowed his blessing upon them. Simon remembers being brought to residences in Portsmouth and seeing his alleged biological mother. His adoptive parents and security personnel remained outside. This reinforced his and his supporters' conviction that his parents were affluent and influential, compelling others to conceal his birth for an extended period. Simon has vowed to demonstrate that he is the illegitimate son of King Charles and Queen Camilla. He distributes material on Facebook and his advocacy website, aggressively pursuing more evidence. He shares collages of himself with members of the royal family to illustrate their likeness. He and his spouse, Dr. Elvana Day, persist in their pursuit of further evidence. However, they claim that the case's obscured information is obstructing their efforts. King Charles said that Camilla was pregnant when he departed for military service, and he kept her for 9 months until the delivery occurred. Simon has initiated legal processes in Australia and asserts that the palace will stage its most exhilarating event yet. Despite the criticism he received from court personnel regarding his case, he saw it as a step towards finding his biological parents after a 4-decade absence. What is the current reason for this incident, and what are the potential consequences? Simon experienced frustration when he requested a private meeting with the couple in 2018. He solicited the family court to schedule a meeting for himself and his spouse. A Queensland government official regrettably advised him to refrain from contacting the royal couple during the 2018 Commonwealth Games. He asserts that he excessively disclosed his goals, allowing others to manipulate the regulations and themselves. He resolved to be more diligent and cautious about his future ambitions. Simon also refuted the notion that he was seeking celebrity and financial gain. He said that he contacted Netflix and several news organizations in 2022 to determine the most effective method to expose his existence and provoke a response from his purported parents. He asserts that the only thing he wants from them is the truth. He initiated legal proceedings before the coronation, determining that exposure was the most effective means to get attention. Regrettably, he and his family faced a stalemate but persisted. Hours before Charles and Camilla were crowned as Queen Consort, Simon corresponded with his purported parents. He composed a letter to commend them on their rule. He said that several media outlets wanted to hear his narrative. In his extensive letters, he articulated his discontent over the unsolved matter of his paternity before the coronation and conveyed his anticipation for its resolution now that they had assumed the roles of king and queen consorts. He said that he was a victim of their aspirations to attain the throne and expressed a desire for them to rectify the error of having adopted him years before. He emphasized that they had dominated his life and that he would persist in pursuing the truth, aware that the world would inevitably follow. He then interrogated his presumed father, the king, about his belief that he would succumb to minor impediments, given his steadfast commitment to Camilla despite societal disapproval. Upon ascending to the throne, he urged King Charles to reveal the chronology of his relationship with Queen Camilla. He requested that they disclose the truth, especially in their capacity as church guardians. He concluded the letter by stating that he and his family were aware of his reputation and did not need attendance for the coronation. The royals disregarded the correspondence. Although Simon seeks acknowledgement as the oldest child of King Charles and Queen Camilla, he has no aspiration for fame or wealth. He inadvertently revealed his strategy to conceal his subsequent action by suggesting he would take advantage of King Charles and Camilla's visit to Australia. He kept his mouth shut to secure their consent for a paternity test. He stated that his residence was usually bustling with people or activities going on in the background, despite his lack of activity on Facebook and his website. Upon revelation of the truth, he alone seeks the paternity test and unequivocal proof. Another remarkable revelation was his full identification as Simon Charles, with both his first and middle names. He said that his adopted mother had required their names to stay unaltered before the adoption. He also reminded the audience of King Charles's proximity to Andrew. Simon's claim of being born around Camilla's birthday in July 1965, just after her involvement in the London debutante season, implied a possible encounter with Prince Charles in the following months. He noted Camilla's disappearance after her debut. Her biography asserts that she studied in Paris, France, despite the absence of photographic proof. Preparations are in progress for King Charles and Camilla's visit in late 2024. Similar to previous public appearances, the king's medical diagnosis may postpone the trip. Simon intends to use the trip to initiate legal action against the royal couple for a paternity test. However, this may impede his efforts. He also wants the DNA of the royal cousins. Gathering such information would be difficult without substantial ties. Hence, he does not elucidate his methodology for doing this DNA search. He and his spouse, Dr. Elvana Day, has discussed the royal family's decision-making process on social media, and he hopes to build a relationship with Harry and Meghan, unlike William and Catherine. He provides commentary on royal family events and believes he is familiar with Harry's circumstances inside the royal household. Despite the improbability of disclosing his lineage, the consequences would overshadow any royal controversy. Durante's assertions has elicited both praise and criticism. Some consider his narrative intriguing and deserving of exploration, but others deem it implausible. Experts remain split. The stated chronology of Charles and Camilla's relationship is ambiguous. Nonetheless, royal historian Robert Jobson advises against drawing conclusions. Durante Day's claims are credible. Nonetheless, Jobson contends that the royal family has experienced several scandals. They need further evidence to establish credibility. Security professionals exercise caution. Due to Durante Day's inclusion on the security watch list, royal journey planners are implementing further measures to safeguard the king and queen consort. The Daily Mail Australia heard from an unidentified security expert that thorough background investigations and psychological evaluations are necessary for potential threats, scandals involving monarchs, and illegitimate progeny. The British royal dynasty has a history of illegitimacy and infidelity. King Henry VIII recognized Henry Fitzroy, an illegitimate offspring, and speculation persists over potential future progeny. Several historical records indicate that King Henry I sired more than 20 illegitimate offspring. Some assert that Princess Margaret, the younger sister of Queen Elizabeth II, had a clandestine child with her former paramour Peter Townsend. The narrative adds to the royal intrigue, despite the lack of supporting evidence. If true, Durante Day's assertions would contribute to this extensive history. The royal family and public view of the monarchy may endure significant consequences. This event may tarnish the royal family's reputation and provoke inquiries over succession. With the impending royal journey, Durante Day and his actions are under scrutiny. Regardless of any ambiguities or obstacles, he will conduct a DNA test. Supporters have united in his endeavor to discover his ancestry. Durante Day's narrative illustrates the allure of royal crises and the human need for resolution. His claims illustrate the intricacies of the royal family and the challenges of public life, regardless of their veracity. Ensuring the safety and success of King Charles and Queen Camilla's journey is paramount. A dilemma arises as they start their journey, highlighting the persistent allure of the British monarchy. Simon Charles Durante Day's assertions, intricately intertwined with royal history. The world contemplates, is this the most significant royal scandal of our day, or only an illusion? Only time and maybe a DNA test will reveal the truth. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for the time being.